I felt the first crack in the foundation when the new VP of engineering, Marcus Hale, strode into the office like he owned the skyline, and his opening act was to ban personal devices from the server room. Claimed it fostered undivided allegiance to the mission. This from a guy who reeked of overpriced cologne and looked like he'd been sculpted in a startup incubator. All sharp jawline and veneered teeth. I'd been at Apex Dynamics for 7 years, buried in algorithm optimization, ensuring our supply chain software didn't buckle under peak demand. I kept my head down, skipped the team-building retreats, ignored the endless ping-pong tournaments in the break room. My real passion was EchoPath, a personal app I'd engineered from the ground up since early 2020. It was for freelance logistics coordinators, cutting through the noise of urban deliveries with razor-sharp efficiency. No frills, no investor hype, just pure, problem-solving code. I'd bootstrapped it on my own servers, under my solo LLC, tested it in gritty East Coast hubs, refined it based on raw user input. It was airtight, separate from Apex in every way, no shared code, no overlapping data, not even a whisper of company resources. I'd learned the hard way in this game. Ideas get poached if you're not vigilant. But Hale started probing. It began with mandatory IP disclosure forms, then a voluntary survey on moonlighting projects. Soon after, updated employment agreements landed in our inboxes, buried in legalese. I scanned mine twice, zeroing in on the clause that clawed at everything, any intellectual output during employment, even off the clock, belonged to Apex. No carve-outs. No mercy. I pushed back via email to legal, got a canned response about aligning with industry standards. I nodded, archived it, and refused to sign. Let them chase uniformity. I'd guard my autonomy. You might wonder why I didn't raise hell right then. Because corporate theft isn't a smash and grab, it's a slow erosion. A casual nod in a meeting. A feature inspired by your work showing up in their roadmap. I'd witnessed colleagues' concepts vanish into the ether before. So I watched and waited. A month later, the internal newsletter hyped a new initiative, Apex's proprietary dynamic routing engine, poised to redefine efficiency in real-time logistics. My pulse stuttered. The descriptors weren't just similar, they echoed EchoPath's core pitch verbatim. Adaptive node balancing. Seamless reroute heuristics. It was my blueprint, repainted in Apex colors. I didn't confront anyone. Instead, I retreated to my home setup, sipped black coffee, and dove into forensics. Every EchoPath commit log, every version hash, every timestamped update got duplicated, notarized, and stashed in dual encrypted drives. I even refreshed my LLC filings, ensuring the chain of ownership was unbreakable. That's when the unease hardened into strategy. I wasn't just protecting, I was arming myself. The clause hit like a veiled threat. Tucked into a routine policy refresh email I opened while nursing a lukewarm sandwich at my desk. To foster innovation and protect our collective assets, it read. Before dropping the bomb, all creations, inventions, or developments during your tenure, regardless of time or location, are deemed company property. They spun it as boilerplate, a nod to growth. But I knew better. This was a dragnet for side gigs. Hale's fingerprint all over it. Whispers rippled through the engineering floor, a few vented in private chats. One guy even mocked it with a meme of a pirate hoarding laptops. But fear won out. Signatures poured in, folks rationalizing it as job security in a shaky market. I scheduled a low-key sit-down with compliance. Sat across from a harried rep and a stone-faced attorney, pointed to the offending lines, and asked point-blank, "Does this supersede my original terms?" Awkward pause. Then the attorney hedged, "Your legacy contract holds, but unification benefits everyone. I thanked them politely, pocketed the notes, and filed the exchange as evidence. The very next week, Apex unveiled their groundbreaking tool, Vertex Route, in a flashy all-hands deck. My gut twisted as I scrolled through the slides, phrases lifted straight from EchoPath's user manual, logic flows mirroring my architecture down to the fault-tolerant loops. It wasn't coincidence, it was calculated. I stayed silent, but that night, I fortified my defenses, backed up repositories, cross-referenced diffs, even pulled analytics from my hosting provider showing unauthorized clones from Apex IPs. I'd been licensing EchoPath to a couple of indie firms in the Southwest for months, signed deals, payment trails, all predating Hale's arrival. I compiled it into a fortified dossier, labeled it contingency, and let the resolve simmer. If they wanted a fight, I'd make it forensic. The demo room buzzed with forced enthusiasm, lights dimmed for effect. Hale commanding the stage like a TED Talk reject. "This is Vertex Route," he proclaimed, clicking through visuals that gutted me, my node diagrams recolored, my predictive models rebranded. Investors nodded approvingly, sipping artisanal water. Then, the glitch, during a simulated high-traffic scenario. The system looped endlessly on a congested Chicago grid. The exact flaw I'd squashed in EchoPath's beta phase years ago. It wasn't derivative, it was a fossilized copy from an old public fork I'd forgotten to lock down. Hale's team had scavenged it, polished the surface, and pitched it as innovation. I masked my fury, jotting notes while the room clapped. Post-demo, I consulted my IP lawyer, Elena Ruiz, a no-nonsense specialist out of Seattle. Laid out the timeline, the bug match, the commit proofs. Her response was crisp. "We've got grounds for infringement. Gather everything." I did, more than everything. Built a digital fortress of evidence. Updated licenses with ironclad breach clauses. Hale had no clue he was dancing on a minefield. Nights blurred into code audits and legal drafts. My apartment a war room of scattered printouts and glowing screens. I skipped sleep, fueled by adrenaline and takeout, dissecting Vertex Route's every echo of my work. Pulled server logs, pinpointing the clones. Archived internal memos boasting in-house mastery, even snagged screenshots of Hale's hype posts before they vanished. Elena drafted a cease and desist skeleton. But I held off, timing was key. Instead, I amended EchoPath's LLC docs, embedding a poison pill. Any false claim of ownership voided all rights instantly. No appeals. Registered it federally. Time-stamped to the second. The office vibe thickened as acquisition rumors swelled, Apex courting buyers at valuations flirting with $150 million. Vertex Route the crown jewel. Hale preened in pitches, claiming full authorship, his voice dripping confidence. I infiltrated a few sessions virtually, camera off, absorbing his lies like ammunition. Noticed the digital scrubbing, old references to my casual mentions of EchoPath erased from chats and calendars. Too late. I'd preserve it all. One evening, a LinkedIn DM pinged from a due diligence analyst at Prime Fusion, one of the suitors. Confirm ownership of EchoPath. No fluff. I responded with the vault, licenses, hashes, timelines. Her reply, appreciated. This shifts perspectives. The dominoes were aligning. Hale's triumphant Slack blast, deal imminent. Team. Landed like irony. I leaned back, the weight of preparation settling into quiet certainty. The storm was brewing, and I held the lightning. The conference room reeked of catered optimism, fresh bagels, premium coffee, as Hale launched into his final pitch. Slides gleaming with Vertex Route's revolutionary feats. Prime Fusion's legal lead. The analyst eyed Fed, sat poised with a folder. Midway, she interjected smoothly, sliding a document forward. Read Clause 5.2 aloud. Please. Hale's boss complied, voice faltering. Misattribution of IP triggers immediate license revocation. No recourse. The room iced over. This governs Echo Path, she explained. The true origin of your tool. We've verified the chain, it's infringement. Hale stammered denials. But the damage cascaded. The bid froze. Accusations flew in hushed tones. By week's end, Hale was escorted out. Termination email citing IP misconduct. No fanfare. Just finality. Apex's deal imploded. Valuation tanking amid whispers. Then came my envelope. Prime Fusion's license offer for Echo Path. Plus a consulting gig at $250,000 annually. A note. Let's attribute it properly. I signed, securing mid-seven figures up front. Apex faded into irrelevance. Staff scattering. I didn't gloat, just relocated to a quiet Oregon cabin. Repo deleted. Peace earned. But the echo lingers, in a world of stolen sparks. Who truly owns the fire? The aftershocks rippled quietly at first, like cracks spiderwebbing across glass before the shatter. Office morale plummeted. Engineers who'd once buzzed with ideas now typed in tense silence. Eyes darting. Hale's empty corner office became a ghost story. A cautionary void. I fielded a few probing messages from old teammates. Did you? But replied with nothing, letting the void speak. Prime Fusion integrated Echo Path seamlessly. My consultations sparse but pivotal. Each one a reminder of value reclaimed. The payout bought solitude, a modest home nestled in coastal woods, where mornings meant fog-shrouded walks, not commutes. Yet, nights brought reflections on Hale's hubris, on corporate greed's blind spots. Was it justice? Or just survival? The question haunts, a subtle undercurrent in the quiet life I built from the ruins.